After C.S. Lewis lost his beloved wife to cancer, he wrote A Grief Observed and said, "Grief and pain are the price humans have to pay for the love and total commitment we have for another person. The more we love, the more we hurt when we lose the object of our love. But if we're honest with ourselves, would we have it any other way?" Perhaps you've experienced romantic heartbreak. And as C.S. Lewis suggests, you've asked yourself if you would have it another way. And without hesitation, you answered, "Yes, I would in fact. I feel so devastated by the grief of lost love that I'm determined to avoid it at all costs in the future." Certainly, losing a special person can feel unbearable. The good news is that God wants to bring you comfort and help you embrace romantic grief rather than run from it, so you can love again without fear. When we accept the reality of heartbreak, it can open our hearts to love rather than keeping us from it. Here's why. If we're afraid of getting hurt and insist on arranging our lives to avoid romantic grief, we forfeit the chance to love, because as Lewis stated, grief and pain are always love's price tags. On the flip side, when we accept the inevitability of heartbreak, we are one step closer to developing the courage it takes to love, no matter the cost. I once heard a story of a boy who was getting beat up daily by the school bully. Day after day, the bully attacked him on the playground, and day after day, the boy walked home overcome with self-pity and defeat. Then one day, his father gave him permission to beat up the bully. "The next time he comes at you, beat the pulp out of him," the father said. With new confidence, the boy walked to the school the next day and waited in anticipation until the last school bell rang. Then he ran out to the playground to face his enemy. When the bully came toward him, rather than cower or flee, he fought back. Not surprisingly, the bully never bothered him again. I know a woman who often says, "I won't be able to handle it if I get my heart broken one more time." Unfortunately, she believes that grief is like this bully who is going to beat her to a pulp, and that she'll be trapped by grief forever. Unfortunately, she's not grasped the truth that her father has given her permission to beat up the bully of grief. Granted, facing romantic grief does not mean that we beat it up one day and move on the next. Instead, it's a process of healing. But in the end, God has granted us the certainty of winning the war against grief and helping us regain the courage to love. His desire is never that we stay stuck in emotional pain and become paralyzed by relational fears. If you feel that you're swimming in a sea of romantic grief, remember that no matter how insignificant you think your pain is to God, He notices it. Not only that, but He has considered it to do something about that. You might be wondering how you can tell if you've moved on through grief to embrace love again. One sign is gratitude. When we're grateful for the good that was given us from God in our past relationship, we can be confident that emotional healing has happened. And when our desire to embrace the future overshadows our desire to hold on to the past, we know that we have said goodbye with grace. When we believe that God can fill our hands and our heart with mutual love again, we will know we have grieved well and that we've entrusted our heartache to Him. When we can thank God for the part others have played in our lives, we can be confident that we have been enhanced by knowing them, and we're ready to embrace love all over again.